Hello, hello. Welcome to Actors Anonymous Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Quiche. Co-hosting with me, as always, is Mr. Jordan Burbank.
You can't get rid of me.
I can't.
No.
I've tried many court orders, and they have not worked.
Yeah. I've got a good legal team.
Our wonderful sponsors for this episode is Cast It Talent. Cast It is the exclusive partner to Cast It's network of more than 10,000 of Hollywood's top casting directors, producers, directors, and studio execs. And I know we've talked about it on the show, but one of the coolest things about Cast It is their monthly showcases. You can submit to them and get seen by real casting directors. Winners get feedback, and the top winner gets a cash prize. So it's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want cash. How often do you ever get that opportunity as an actor to be able to win cash as an actor?
Not very much.
I feel like that's not.
We have a really cool guest today. His name is James Logan. He's an actor, stuntman, and some of his credits include Kill Bill, The Hunger Games, Public Enemies, Justified, The Mechanic, Ride Along. I mean, you have such a resume, James.
I have been fortunate in this business.
You have, man. It's a fucking kick-ass resume.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. Been very lucky.
Well, our theme for this episode is community.
Oh, I love that show. Is that
That's the show.
You were on it, right?
Canceled, or is it reunited? Or wait?
I think Yahoo picked it up though. Out of all seriousness, right?
Oh, no. You know what? Honestly, I don't like that show.
Really?
I don't have any feelings about it at all.
Yeah, it's just like it's a sandwich. It's like it's there. I don't really want to go for it, but if it's
you
there,
might
I watch
eat it.
Yeah, like if I get really hungry, I might eat it.
I don't think I've eaten a single episode of Community. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's wonderful. I hear people rave about it, and I have actually too. I have seen clips, but anyway, we're talking about something completely different today.
No, well, one thing I wanted to have you on the show and talk about is see if there's a difference between the acting community and the stunt community, and see if there's any similarities between the two. Because I've heard things through the grapevine, if you will, and through other stuntmen, and I've heard what the acting community is like, and I've had my personal experiences since I'm part of the acting community, and I feel it's changing for the better. Why are you laughing, Jordan?
It's such a fast, long sentence that you're saying right now.
I know. I feel on point though right now.
Yeah, you're nailing it. Like,
don't break the flow.
I mean, it might be the longest run-on sentence in the history of podcasts. But it's not like there's some sort of something that's transcribing this. Nobody's ever going to see that sentence.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, tell me that's not a teleprompter you're reading.
Yeah, it's not. It's a clock that I'm supposed
really
to look at,
good.
but I never look at. I always look at my phone. And
I
I'm
have
like,
time.
Anyway, I want to define what community means, and I found this definition off the interweb. A feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. And I want to pose this question to the listener right now. What are you doing to give back to your acting community or stunt community or your artistic community? Why is community so important? Do you feel that sense of community within the stunt community, within the acting community currently, James?
Well, I'll tell you, here's the difference between the acting community and the stunt community. The stunt community is a brotherhood where people will literally show up at your house and fill your gas tank and fill your refrigerator. If somebody's injured, they'll come over, and some people will take care of you.
Wow.
There's like organizations that will pay your bills. You know, there's stunt mixers. There's stunt, like, I was invited to some karaoke thing last week where it's just like, hey, let's go do karaoke. A bunch of stunt people. You know, there's like 4 or 5 stunt parties a year where it's just an excuse for everyone to get together. And yeah, there's animosity between certain players in the stunt community, but in general, you know, there are actual, you know, functioning services of a community for stunt people. And for the acting community,
not so much.
Not at all. So that's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
There's an actual, I don't know. I mean, you know, I kind of romanticize it a little bit because I love stunt people, you know what I mean? And I love the idea of, you know, of stunt people that maybe, you know, that I've learned that I came in from, you know, having seen like Hooper and, you know, stunt people. I
I totally I understand what you're saying. I think within the last couple of years, for me, the acting community has become a little bit more. It's been growing more in terms of a fellowship. We've been to a few, I think, mixers as
Yep.
well, but they're far in between, and the quality of them it needs improvement. And there needs to be, rather than, "Hi, I'm an actor. Yes, I'm an actor too. Cool. Let's trade information and never talk again."
right.
Yeah. It's always, how can you help me?
Right.
It's like, it's never.
What-
And that's like, well, I have a question. Like, the comparison between the two, obviously there's different circles, I'm sure, but with the like stunt community, is that considered to be like a smaller knit group, or is it like kind of an expansive group of people?
It's much smaller. So,
Yeah.
like the actual number of working stunt people in this town, if there are 100 people that claim to be a stunt person, which there are a lot more than 100, but if there are, out of 100, maybe 15 are actually working. And it's probably
Right.
less than that. It's
Yeah.
probably, a smaller percentage. Yeah, I mean, I think that basically I forgot the question.
No, I just wondering. Like, I was just saying, like, because it's a smaller community of people that are, and you probably have more. It's not. See, that's the stunt community. It's like one of those things where it's like, it's kind of what we talk about on the show here. Is we want to create unity with actors. We want to create like a place where people feel safe. They can actually like trust each other and stuff like that. And it seems like the stunt community has it figured out. It's like, why can't actors just kind of like, because I'm sure that like, a lot of times you're going out for roles and stuff. It's like you could be competing with someone that you're friends with, but it's like that shouldn't matter. Like, it really shouldn't matter if you're going out for the same job.
Do you think this just hit me too, because it's a very physical, obviously, field to be in, and some of the training stuff I've done martial arts wise, physically, you start developing a really strong bond with people, especially when there's like a high discipline involved. There's a structure, there's a lot of physicality, and you have to trust your training partner. Do you think that's might help why there might be a more
Absolutely.
community between them?
Yeah, the thing about stunts is that there is risk involved. I mean,
Right. Absolutely.
I'm working next week. I got this team is hanging me from a Ferris wheel. I mean, it's a lot of like physical stuff. They can't bring in someone that they don't trust. Nobody wants to be responsible for hurting somebody,
Right.
or, costing production money.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants, so you have to, it's kind of the whole, similar to the military in the sense, not that we do anything remotely brave like the military.
No.
But-
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But, you've got to trust the guy that, that you bring on, because, I never realized this until I actually coordinated something. And when I was coordinating, like before I coordinated something, I used to be like, why isn't Bob hiring me? I want to work. He's my friend. He should hire me. Then I coordinated something. I realized you can't just hire anyone. You can't just hire your friends. If you're lucky, you can hire your friend is right for the job.
Right.
But other than that, you got to hire the guy who's right for the job.
No, absolutely.
And especially when you're doing stunts. I mean, I one of my first shows was a show called Knife to a Gunfight. And it's directed by this guy, Tom Proctor, who's awesome stunt guy, and he's an actor, and he's, cool guy. And I hired my buddy, Joe, to do a high fall, and I'm looking up, and I'm on the corner of the back, and I'm looking 45 feet up onto the top of this building, and there's my buddy Joe standing on the edge of the building waiting to hear action, and he's about to jump. And I've seen him jump 1,000 times.
Right.
But now I'm responsible for it, and I put him up there. And now if he jumps and just decides to hairball it and go and totally miss the whatever,
Yeah.
I'm the guy. I put him there. So it made me realize, like, I can't, luckily Joe was the right guy for the job, but you can't just, as with stunts,
There's a
it's
lot
like
at
you
stake.
gotta hire, there's a lot at stake.
Yes,
You
and
have people's lives in your hands.
I mean,
what I
Like,
love
literally.
what I love about stunts too, with the experience I've had of stunts on television work that I've done, and man, I love when the stunt coordinator and the AD and the director, and we're all like working things out, and you just, yes, the director and the AD are like super in zone with it, but usually the stunt guy is like double that. He is like, you can just, I mean, I get a sense of it. He's just looking at every single inch of where you're moving your foot, how you're being slammed up on the car. It was my first guest spot, was Mentalist, and they had brought in a stunt guy because I was just being slammed on a car, and they didn't want anything to happen to me. I was like, no, it's cool. Like I can do it. I've had experience. It's fine. But man, that stunt guy was like right there. He's like, how are you being slammed? Cool. Make sure your arms are here. How like, you just felt comfortable and you felt safe, and that way you don't have to worry about like, am I gonna die as the actor here?
Right. Well, let me see if I can build a bridge between actors and stunt people with this.
Please.
But
yeah.
If you ever find yourself in that position, I tell all actors this as a stunt person, because actors don't necessarily know this, but if you have a stunt person on set, it is in my opinion, it's your obligation to make sure that he is in front of camera for at least one setup.
Right.
Make sure he gets photographed.
Oh, okay.
Because if he exits that set, and when he signs out on the G, if they put NP next to his name on the G, that means not photographed. That means he doesn't get any residuals.
Right.
It means he gets paid for the day,
Wow.
but he doesn't get any residuals.
Ah.
Now, if he does get into that residual pie, it's not going to take anything from an actor.
Right.
It's just going to, and you don't even, it could be one shot. You can just make sure if you've got a stunt double there, just as a fellow working professional, get them on camera once.
Right.
That's great.
So it happened to me one time.
Thank you
That's
so much
really
for
good
saying
to
that,
know.
because I never knew that.
Nobody knows. My buddy John Ashker told me that he didn't have to, but he explained that at one point he just pulled Russell Crowe aside.
Right.
Way, way early on in Russell's career. And he just said that. He just told him, he said, look, man, I know you want to be the guy, and I know you want to hit the ground. I know you want to be able to say, I did all my own stunts.
Right.
But and that's fine. Just make sure that your stunt guy gets in front of camera once.
Thank you so much for saying that. You don't know how valuable that is. And that's also like, it's a partnership. It's a team. And I respect the stunt community tremendously. Like, some of the stuff I've seen you guys do and I've seen in person is like, man, that's incredible to me. And I know the amount of physical and mental dexterity that goes behind that. There's a lot of training that goes into it. Speaking of training, then, what type of training have you had to prepare yourself for the stunts that you're doing in front of the camera?
Well, I my training was riding around on top of cars in high school and throwing myself down stairs. And I think I finally, it's, I don't know, the old story of how I decided to be a stunt guy was I was in Texas. And I was in, like high school or something. And in Texas, like, you don't quit football. And I didn't hate it, but it was 2-a-days, middle of the summer. It was blazing hot, and I was not enjoying it.
2-a-days are not pleasant for anybody.
No. Nobody walks away from those and says, that was a great day.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Hey, I can't wait. What's happening tomorrow? More 2-a-days. Great.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, I decided to jump off the roof of my house to break my leg so I wouldn't have to go back. Yeah.
Are you being serious?
I am.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I got a good running start and I jumped off the roof, and about midway through the air, I was like, oh, this is just a bad idea.
Right.
So I hit the ground and I like did a kind of a roll maneuver, and it came up on my feet, and I was like, oh, I'm a stuntman. And that was it. Like, ever since, I was always like trying to like.
This is amazing. This is amazing to me. So you had just had a natural inclining for it.
It was just my gig, man. I mean, I always took like martial arts, and
Nice.
I took it to some degree or another based on how interested I was at the time, and I was always kind of, in fights with guys that were douchebags, and I never really started fights. I just was always in fights.
Yeah.
And,
sure, James.
That's
what they all say.
That was my claim to fame. I was like, I never started them.
Look, a fight.
But-
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, like
spun into
I look a fight. Does it count if you dove into someone else's fight? Does that mean that you didn't start it also? Anyway,
You should be like, I respect him.
Hey.
I respect him.
Well, was there any
I don't know his name.
part in whenever you progressed through, you could start getting into the film business? Was there anything where you're like, okay, maybe I'm learning some stuff from other stunt guys and they're teaching you stuff?
well, yeah, as I got into it, I mean, where my training kind of in Dallas, I was with some group of would-be stunt guys, and we were doing like live shows, and so we would do these live Wild West shows, and when you're beating each other up in the street for an audience, you quickly figure out how to sell punches from a distance, and if you don't, it just you can see the reactions on people's faces, and that was kind of my first training. And then I got here, and I was actually I'd work here and there for various stunt people that would give me a shot, various stunt coordinators and whatnot. But then I was also doing live shows, few and far between, but we would do these live Western shows at Warner Brothers for like these corporate parties for like, whatever, some food wrapping company would have a corporate party on the back lot, and we would come
Of course they would.
Yeah, right? We'd come out and shoot each other off horses and drag each other behind horses, and,
Well,
questionable safety.
Did they tell the other people, or they guys just go in and
do
it?
was pretty much, hey, well, let's just do one here. Well, that was the thing about the old one. The one in Texas is that nothing was planned. It wasn't a corporate party. It was like as if someone, just went around, some backwater town in Texas with a a triangle. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, come on, grab a mitt. We're going to the Wild West show. And then we would just like, I remember one thing I did, we just would come up, we'd like look and see where people were, and we'd like come up with gags. And I got up in a tree, and I was like, just, you come under the tree and be like, hey, that was fun. You shoot your gun in the air, and then I'm going to fall out of the tree. And I literally, it worked out so well in my mind, but in reality, it was a bell ringer. He shoots it out. I'm like 15 feet up in the tree, and he goes, yeah, bang, and he shoots, and I just go thump and just fall straight out of the tree to my side. And I remember like, yeah, that was fun, but we don't need to do that again.
Well, you're absolutely fearless, James. It seems like it.
Can I ask you, like, what's either your favorite or, like, your craziest stunt that you've ever done? Because I imagine, like, whenever you're doing work, it's like, oh, yeah, let's push the envelope and kind of make something look really special.
Yeah, well, I rarely find myself in the position to push any envelopes. It's usually like, I'm usually, my bread and butter is basically like, I deliver a line of dialogue, and then they throw me down a flight of stairs,
Yeah.
But my favorite gag is, favorite thing that I've done is we rigged basically just put me on a wire, and I jumped off there's a building in Hollywood, actually right up the street, called the Montecito. It's on Cahuenga and Franklin.
Right.
And it was a commercial for Tap Out or something like that. And I rigged it with my buddy Joe and Joe Perez. I rigged it and had to do the. I didn't have to do it, but I wanted to test it. I mean, I was like, well, if somebody's gonna, fall to their death, it should be me. I rigged it, so I got to test the thing a couple times, and since I was testing it, we did camera tests. So I have this really cool footage of me on early days of Red. I don't know how early, it was like 2012, but I have some really cool shots, like looking as on a crane as I jump into nowhere. It's really great, and it was a really exhilarating experience.
Yeah,
I like how you said the early days of Red, and it's like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
it's like that's how fast technology's
Sadly.
moving. Listener
Remember
question.
that.
It's kind of in that range. Has there ever been a time where you felt uncomfortable due to a stunt? William Quiche, my brother.
Hi, William. Thanks for asking. Honestly, no, because I don't take gigs that I can't do. You
Awesome.
know what I mean?
I'm glad to hear you say that, actually.
Yeah, I have definitely, for instance, the one I just mentioned, I mean, when I was standing on the edge of that building about to jump, I mean, I trusted my rig,
Right.
but you're not, it's one thing if you're looking off even if it's a postage stamp, if you can see a bag that you're going to land on, that's one thing. But if you look off the edge of a building and there's nothing underneath you, even though you're wearing a harness and you can feel a line attached to your back, there's a lot of variables between you and that line, or between that you and the end of that line.
Yeah.
There's there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So
I had an actor friend, and I want to know your advice on this, because I think it's so important for any actor in the future listening to this, if they ever come across this situation, first of all, to not do what he did, because I think it was a big mistake. I'm pretty sure he injured somebody, and he could have really hurt himself. He was on a shoot. It was a professional shoot, like for union job. They didn't hire a stuntman, and they asked him to do a jump, and to like jump into I don't remember what it was, but people were holding something for him to jump onto, like a mattress, something not safe.
Oh, not even like a fireman's thing, like
no. It was, and so. They were kind of pushing him, and he was, he's a guy. If I was in his situation, honestly, not knowing what knowing what he knew at the time, I would have been like, sure, it's fine.
Right.
But if there's ever a situation where they're asking you to do a stunt, and there's no stuntman, and you get a bad feeling, what do you recommend for actors to do in that situation?
Well, I recommend that always demand that there's a stunt person, and there's a few reasons for that. One, every time you do that, that means a stunt person is on set getting paid, and I like that to happen,
of course,
as often as possible. But also, you could die. You could spend the next.
That's just the best. That's the best answer.
It's true though.
No, I mean you could literally spend the next 20 years with just a nagging back issue. It's like, and the producers, they don't. I mean, I'm not. Look, I'm not saying that producers are intrinsically evil. I'm just saying that, their job is to, they want everyone to walk away from their set safe and unscathed. They don't want to hurt anybody, obviously, but if they think they can get away with, the beauty is that like on a SAG show or on a union show of whatever, you have to pay the stunt coordinator the full boat. So if you let's say you've got a 15-day $100,000 movie,
right?
And everyone's getting, and you got Leo is playing the freaking lead, and he's getting $125 a day. Let's just in a fantasy world,
right?
Doesn't matter what and who, whatever, man. They've got Sharon Stone's playing the sexy psychiatrist, whatever. She's getting $125 a day. The stunt coordinator is getting the full boat. He's getting his 900 and whatever it is a day, no matter what. That's how SAG operates. They won't let you skimp on the, on the stunt coordinator. So on that low budget 15-day shoot, every time some actor gets slapped, the producer's got to ask himself, do I want to pay? Let's say that's the only thing on the schedule for that day. For whatever reason, that's the only time they could put those two actors in the room together to slap each other was on a day that was it for stunts. The producer's got to ask himself, oh, wow, what was that?
I don't know.
It's like
pipes.
Earthquake.
Ghosts. We have ghosts in the studio.
Ghosts in the
Fear the Walking Dead. I'm going to try to... This is... Okay. Work it.
Our mics are going crazy. I think there's a poltergeist in the room.
There's definitely... I think that's what was making it was like... I don't know, but
dramatic reenactment.
Where was I?
Whenever a producer wants to,
with the thing, with the slapping and the whatnot. Yeah, I mean, like that. Like they have to ask themselves: do I want to spend $1,000 to have a guy stand here for 2 seconds while one actor slaps another? When everybody knows,
right?
I mean, anyone can do that, but the reality is not everyone can. And by the, as a stunt coordinator, I want to be there because my name is on every single piece of action in that movie as far as I'm concerned. So if there's two actors slapping each other, I want to be there. And the producers should want a stunt coordinator there because it seems like, oh yeah, slapping, actor slap. Well, I mean, if an actor slaps another actor and they physically slap another actor, if I slap you, I can slap you on camera. You can shoot it. I could actually physically make contact and just tap you on the face, and nobody's hurt, and everybody works great. If I go deep and hit you in the side of your jaw, I can knock your freaking jaw loose. You know, I mean, you can get your bell rung. If you get damage in your jaw, you can get sinus problems. I mean, there's all kinds of, like, I know it's ridiculous, but I mean, like,
no, it's good things to know.
Well, not only that, but if you worked on a film and like the producers didn't call you in for this one day where like something actually did happen to you, then it kind of looks like forever down the line. It's like, oh, that movie where so and so broke their leg, and it was like, oh, so and so worked on that. Who's the stunt coordinator? Oh, really? And it's like it had nothing to do with you as the producer not calling you in.
And
it's
nobody's gonna say that's exactly right. Nobody's gonna say, well, he wasn't there that day. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, well, where was he?
Yeah. Well, why wasn't he there? He didn't care enough about the production. Well, no, they weren't paying him. Well, none of that ever comes out. It's just who's the asshole that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's important to protect yourself. I feel like as an actor too, if you're looking through a script that maybe is like a low budget and has a scene in which you're going to be doing something, it's totally within your means of saying, like, if I have the role, hey, who's the stunt person on this? Because I'd love to like work with them or something. You know, I'm sure like that. Right. It would probably be better to start that relationship early anyway, and at the same time, you can make sure that you're going to be safe on set.
Yeah. Can I bring in James Logan? He's a great stunt coordinator.
Right. Boom. Let's just get that. That should be tattooed on every actor's wrist.
James,
your phone number and your information.
we are out of time, sadly, but you have something coming up, right? A project you're in.
I have, I'm actually working next week on a show. I can't say what it is
that's fine.
But I did a movie with John Travolta, and he was awesome. By the way,
nice.
He was awesome. He was so cool.
That's great.
We had like a dialogue. We had like 3 pages together, and
oh wow,
and he awesome. Like, I was getting my hair cut, and he came into the makeup trailer. He was like, "You want to run this scene?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he ran that scene with me for like 20 minutes, like just the ultimate. I mean, like,
oh, that's wonderful to hear.
20 minutes is $1 million on a set, for a guy like that.
Of course, with a seasoned actor like that,
it was invaluable. And then when we got on set to do the scene, we just railed through it. I mean, it was like, I can't say enough great stuff about that guy.
What
awesome
great. Film is it? Can you tell us what it is? Or what
it's called I Am Wrath. And it's kind of like his John Wick. I don't know. His
I Am Wrath. I like that. That's how I felt, I think, at some point this week.
Probably some point in this interview, I would imagine.
I wish we could do a stunt right now. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you know what? I can, on the way out, I'll hit my face on the door.
This is breakaway glass behind
we won't
that.
Film it.
Curtain, so you're fine.
Nice.
You can still if this is true, you can still cut yourself on breakaway glass, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Candy glass, breakaway glass, yeah. A famous example of that is a movie called Red Heat. And it's like Schwarzenegger and like Belushi, but like
such a weird period.
I know, right?
You just wouldn't normally put them together.
Not John Belushi, Jim Belushi, and it's basically in it at some point in it. One of there's a guy, a big I think he's supposed to be a Russian guy. He's a big dude doubling a nun or playing a nun or pretending to be a nun. And he gets shot through this glass, and at the end of it. I don't know if he dies or what, if they pick, I guess he dies, but you can see all the blood on him, from going through that glass and just because he had nowhere to put pads.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Which brings me to one last point.
Please.
Respect stunt women, because,
of course,
stunt guys get to put on pads, knee pads, elbow pads. Stunt women get none of that. They literally, they don't, and even if they're wearing jeans, they can sneak some stuff in, but basically it's like, there's nowhere to hide pads on a woman's wardrobe. So
gotcha.
As hard as stuntmen hit the ground, stunt women hit the ground.
Wow. The more you know.
Harder.
James, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It was a blast. I wish we could have more time with you. If people want to find you on the interweb, Where were you at?
Oh, well, I have a jameslogan.net, I think. Is that even
.net.
is
That's old
.net
school.
even
I like
still
that.
a thing?
It is, because I was on your website yesterday.
Oh, wow, nice. I'm sorry to hear
It's
that.
still up, just so you know.
Oh, good. Yeah, it was. I actually last updated it in I think it was 2013.
Well, it's time to update it now.
Yeah,
you
just
got a great interview on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to post this. In fact, that'll be the only place this interview will be posted, because you guys are going to be like, oh, episode 205. Let's just let that one go.
No.
Awesome.
I had a blast.
Thanks, man. Me too. But I just feel like it's really like.
It's fascinating to me because I only last year actually worked with you on a short film, but and then I worked on another one, and they were both very stunt heavy, and I never understood I didn't have such an appreciation for everything that goes into like producing a project like that, even on a small like 5-minute scale.
Yeah.
Like if you have one stunt that's like rigged or whatever, it's like there is so much preparation, there is so much concern.
Yeah, there's 3 hours of your day gone.
Right.
And it's like,
if you're lucky,
this is amazing. Like it's such a great community of people like wanting to help out.
Cool,
James, thanks again for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're gonna take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Casted Talent is pleased to support Actors Anonymous. Casted Talent, for more than a decade, we've been working to make sure that the right actor has the opportunity to compete for the right job and has the right online tools to pursue that job. The Casted Talent Online Showcase, Gig Finder, major open calls like Star Wars and Jungle Book, and feedback by casted certified casting pros within 24 hours. CastedTalent.com, @CastedTalent, and Casted Talent on Instagram or Facebook. #Right Actor, Right Job.
Put a flavored condom on your head because your mind is about to get blown.
High school is over.
Blackout party at the beach, bitches! You're legit popular.
Ah, Maddie f***ing McKibben.
You have to tell her.
I still want to be with you. You still want to be with me?
Welcome to the Enchanted Fantasy Prom. Be sure to sign up for the raffle. You could win a rainbow.
Awkward. Season 5 premiering August 31st at 9/8 Central. Only on MTV.
And we are back. Breaking news. We just found out we are the #1 podcast in Western Mongolia.
That's not accurate.
What?
No, not at all.
Our Google Analytics have lied to us then. Or you have lied to me.
I've lied to you.
You've lied to me. Okay, gotcha.
Since the start of the show.
With us in the studio, we're very excited. We are crossing the pond, as they say.
Yes.
We have Angela Peters. She is an actor, voiceover artist. She was the host of Queensland Best Living, correct?
Yeah.
And she has many indie films. They will be out soon. One in particular, The Woman Who Came to Dinner.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to see, keep an eye out for these in any film festivals that I go to in the near future. Angela, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Angela, you are London-based, correct?
I'm London-based, yeah.
And you travel quite a bit for work. I'm really impressed with your resume of work.
Thank you. I guess that's the Australian thing. I get to, be international because I'm Australian, but London-based now.
Yeah, and now you're LA.
And now LA. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's next? Western Mongolia?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's a big industry.
I'd really like to have some fans over there.
Well, I've got a question to ask you then, because our theme today is community,
Yeah.
and community in the acting world, and
Yeah.
we just had a stuntman on, and we talked about that type of community. What's the community like for acting in London?
I think it's amazing. But I've been in London now for about 9 years, and I think everyone's really supportive over there. But then
Right.
I kind of run something there as well, so I get a sense of community every month because all these people turn up and we all hang out and have a drink and chat and talk shop. So
What is that thing you're running?
The UK Actors Tweet Up,
Awesome.
which they have an LA Actors Tweet Up here in LA as well. So I kind of met the guy who ran that 6 years ago and said, I think I'm going to do this in the UK, and started over there. So I kind of feel like there's a great sense of community because I've got these lovely people that come along every month and hang out. And we listen to directors talk and casting directors and drink. I mean, their English love to drink.
Yes, I was privy to that whenever I studied in London for a little bit.
That's
yes,
right, you were over there.
I know. I've mentioned this before. I want to always go back because I've always loved the arts and the theater.
You need to
scene
come back.
here.
I need to.
You're not
I need to
allowed
get
back.
Yeah. You've been banned. I'm here to tell you, you've been banned.
Oh no.
This is an intervention, we Sam. I brought Angela here.
Yeah.
From London,
She's
all
the
for this.
person
Wow,
for
I feel
the
loved.
acting So, what can I ask you? Like, what exactly is the actor tweet up?
Oh, the Actors Tweet Up. Yeah, so it's just like a networking opportunity, I guess, essentially. We run them a little bit differently. There's one in New York as well, and then there's in Ireland and Nottingham in the UK as well. But they're just a chance for people to get together and hang out. And, when it first started, it's always about 60-70% actors in the UK ones. And it's always really, we try not to charge actors if the casting director or the person who comes and speaks, if they don't charge us, we want it to be a free event. So that we're kind of making sure that actors, they pay for so much. I know how much I have to pay for,
Absolutely.
all the time for everything. So I love that we run this thing that people just get to hang out and have a good time and talk and talk about what they're up to and feel supported, which is what you were talking about, this sense of community.
Absolutely.
Feeling like you're safe, or you could come along and go, oh, hey, Jordan, I'm working on this new piece for my show reel. Are you free next week? Could we film together? And someone will do something, and people have met writers there and then collaborated, and, directors have paid writers, and then actors have been cast by directors who come along.
Wow.
So it's really nice when actually paid work happens as well. It's a bonus.
That's great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm curious. You're London-based currently.
Yeah.
But you're from Australia.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And the community in Australia, there's a lot of great Australian actors that are popping up.
Yeah, we have amazing actors. I feel like I've been out of Australia for so long. I go back and I try to audition and keep in touch, but I'm kind of really far away from that scene now. But I feel like a lot of the really great Aussies end up coming over here.
Right.
So often there's just not enough work. We've got some amazing TV shows in the last couple of years, though. So hopefully we'll see more of those Australians stay. But it's pretty tough over there. I just watched a video the other week with all these really well-known Australian TV stars that I recognised, all talking about their other jobs. And I was thinking, oh, that's really tough. Like, I've grown up watching you on TV and you're doing construction work when you're not acting.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome to hear, though. You know what I mean? I mean, not awesome. Let me hold on, people.
Let's bring it back. I want to know what you're saying.
It's such a crazy business that there's no guarantee of work.
Yes.
And so it's tough work. I understand, especially for an actor. Whenever I was serving tables, after, working a guest spot, and it's the most amazing thing being on set and then having to go back to serve tables. It's that is the worst day of your life.
It's really,
the day back.
It's so humbling,
because
isn't it?
It's very humbling, but at the same time, I have so much respect, and I don't want other actors to put their heads down for it anymore. Yeah. I don't want that. It's no, I'm working hard for something I love to do. Yeah. This is a part of it. Yeah. I'm not ashamed. Yeah. This is just part of it. And I wish I would have raised my head a little bit, because sometimes it's it's not that I see myself better or anything like that, but it's when you're doing something you love and you're being treated so well on set, and there's that sense of community on set, and it's a wonderful thing. And then you're going
family. Yeah. It's it's definitely. And when you have to leave that,
and then you're going back, and you're
it's there's a Hollywood Game Night came back, and I'm I'm in a full-time job now, so I'm God, I wish I could be on that show with all that cast and that family and everything. It's just sometimes when you can't, it's life goes on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of depressing. Yeah. That's going to be difficult though to be well known and well perceived by people and still have to have a second job.
Absolutely. And I mean, even in the UK, loads of my friends are really successful TV film actors, and I know that they get helped by their partner, who might have the full-time job, or one of my mates years ago was still living with their family, and that's the reality, because it's tough, and they didn't know when their next job's going to be. You might do something great, and then you might not be working for another couple of years. So,
well, I imagine it's probably because a lot of is the UK programming is a lot based off of smaller amounts of orders for seasons too. So I imagine you're not working 12 to 24 episodes. You may be only doing 6 for the year.
Exactly. So. There's 6 episodes. Yeah.
Then I want to go back to that idea that you may do good work and you may not work for a while.
Yeah.
And that period of time, how do you adopt that as an actor? Because to understand it, to know that it exists is one thing. To understand it is one thing, but to really adopt it into your lifestyle and your life and be okay with it, that's a completely different thing too.
Yes. Yeah.
So how do we get to that stage of being okay with it and understanding that that's the way it is?
That's such a great question. I think if I knew the answer to that, we'd have like the magic pill that actors could actually take to be okay during the quiet times, because it comes up all the time. And one of the things I do is I write a blog that I just love doing just for fun. There's, it's just I enjoy doing it. It comes up all the time in my blog, this constant conversation, because I'll be sitting down with my acting buddies and one of us is having a great week and we're booking loads of stuff and we're going to be on set and there's going to be car picking stuff, and then the next month it's really quiet and you're not doing anything and your other mate's doing really well and you're like, oh yeah, and it's you're always talking about this with your really close acting buddies. What do you do when you feel crap? Because suddenly you haven't been in the room for 3 weeks, for an audition, and you're like, oh, this is the end. It's over. My career is over. Flicker. Yeah. And I'm into really positive stuff. I get called a hippie all the time, but I think it's really I like meditating and I like affirmations and things like that. I think they are so important, and they've changed. I read The Artist's Way years ago by Julia Cameron. It had been recommended by a couple of acting friends of mine and some non-actors, and I read that and it just blew my mind. I was like, yeah, you've got to find a way to feel good when things aren't happening, because that's you've got to keep in that mind frame and till it continues, because that actually will you'll book more work as a result. So you'll start getting comfortable with the lulls, but you're keeping positive, so the universe will want to give you more stuff. Yeah.
That's a super, man, you said so many good things in there. First off, the meditation thing I think is wonderful.
Yeah.
I just recently got the honor to teach a webinar on auditioning through stage32.com.
Oh, they're amazing. That's Robert, isn't it? The Stage
RB?
32 guys.
Yeah,
oh,
RB,
wow,
yeah.
he's such a legend. Yeah, that's amazing, that site.
Super cool dude.
Yeah.
One of the things I was focusing on in the audition class is like the letting go aspect.
Yeah.
And that is super, super tough because it's a control issue. I think that for many actors, it's a problem. But it's just such, man, because I'm personally going through that phase again, and I hate that because I'm like, I was doing so well. What happened? Why am I back in that phase again?
You do really well. You're always really busy. It's great.
See,
I
that's the
googled
illusion.
you.
No, I'm kidding.
I googled you from Mongolia.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, fan base in Mongolia is huge right now.
It's me.
She's going around the Apple store and logging into all the websites.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I just went off a really lovely, gentle conversation.
Actually, I wanted to ask you again, just for our listeners too, is like, what was the name of the book you were talking about?
Oh, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, The Artist's Way, and she was actually, I'm pretty sure in the introduction, she was married to a really famous director years ago, but I can't remember who that was. So yeah, that's something for people. I mean, this has been sold, like millions of copies have been sold of this book around the world over the years, and it's all about rediscovering yourself as an artist, and whether that's an actor or a painter, or you might be a full-time lawyer, but you could still pick up a guitar and play guitar and still be a lawyer. It's like about finding your creative side.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
It's beautiful.
Well, I wanted to hit a point from before. Sorry. That's okay. So Jordan, don't.
Jordan,
I'll shut up now. Okay.
It's quiet time, Jordan.
No, totally joking. But no, I just wanted to hit on something that I was trying to lead to, the whole meditating. Why I like it so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the letting go, the control. You said the control, letting go.
So. With meditating, there's a great meditating I talk about in the webinar where it's a single thought meditation, and all we think about is breathing in and out. And as soon as you feel you're thinking about something else, you go back to the thought. And so you start timing yourself. Can I think about just breathing in and out for like 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you can think about just breathing for 10 minutes and not have a single thought come into your mind other than that, what happens is an amazing thing. And Bill Burr actually talks about it on his podcast a few times. You get into this phase, and I know this sounds hippie or like tree huggery.
I love all this stuff. This is great.
But it's real. It's real. You become almost third person perspective.
Yeah.
And the first time it happens, you got to be really careful not to be too aware that it's happening, and then you'll be taken out of it. So what happens is you're almost seeing yourself sitting there. Yeah. It's almost an out of body experience, but you're still connected with your body. I know, absolutely.
Honestly, I've never had this, but I've heard people talk about this.
Right.
Yeah.
One
So-
could not live 10 minutes without thinking about something.
But it's you're definitely the right person that should be doing it. Do you want
right.
us to step out for 10 minutes and have a go?
I'm going to try this right now.
What's amazing is once you start, and it takes practice. It takes practice.
Yeah.
You'll start realizing that, oh man, if I start focusing on my breath whenever like something really bad happens, your feelings, those emotions will start, those negative ones will start going away.
Yeah.
And you'll begin looking at it much more clearly, and you won't be controlled so much by your emotions, which I feel a lot of us are as actors. And then
we're emotional beings. Yeah.
once we realize that, and this is the paradox. Once we realize there's so much out of our control, that will give us more control of ourselves.
Absolutely. That is literally like, I think you should repeat that for the audience. That is so important what you just said.
Once we realize that there is so much out of control. Wait, oh gosh.
Out of your control.
Out of your control, it'll give us more control of ourselves.
That is so true. Honestly, that's the magic that the actors need to understand. You can't control who they're going to choose. It's sometimes they want someone taller or shorter or older or hotter or who's got more experience on their CV or who's an unknown or who's available in town or actually the lead actor's now available so they can't have you. You can't control anything. All you do is walk in, book the room, right? Do a good job in the room and wow people, and then you leave and then try and feel really good and positive the rest of the time. And that's all you've got control of. Learning your lines, walking in and doing a good audition and then hopefully, booking the part. We own nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
you should take pride in the fact that you actually just did it. Like that's like one of the hardest things. It's like I knew a guy who auditioned for a big fit, like one of the big blockbusters, and it was down to like him and some other guy for the role. And then like he was like, "Oh, I really want this. All of a sudden, it was like boom, picked up by a celebrity. Like some celebrity just signed on. And I'm like, he's like, "Oh, I'm really pissed." I'm like, take pride in the fact that if they didn't have the celebrity, they probably would have picked you.
Yeah.
Like
it's pretty great, right? And that means that they'll get. That casting director will get them back in. They'll get them back into their
right
book.
Path.
Yeah.
Right.
These type of conversations help develop that. I know it help relieves this, because even us talking about it right now, I feel better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hope people listening feel a little bit better as well. I want to switch gears a little bit. I know you do a lot of voiceover work.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to just say this right now, and it's totally a side non sequitur, but I need to know. You said CV earlier, which means resume, correct?
Yes, resume. As you guys, resume.
Is that what it stands for?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask what it stood for, so now
so
I know.
clever, that Jordan.
I'm a producer.
Okay. Just kidding. So you do a lot of voiceover work.
I do.
We do have a listener question, and it's something that I'd like to know, and a lot of our listeners.
Yeah.
It's from Stephanie. Best way to set up a best way to get a voiceover agent.
Ooh, that question comes up a lot in London, actually, through acting mates. They ask that.
Right.
You've got to have a voice reel. No decent voiceover agent, well, in the UK, definitely, I'm not sure about what it's like here, will look at you and consider you unless they can actually hear you doing multiple stuff.
Wonderful.
Is that something that should be, just out of curiosity, because I've always loved like the idea of voiceover acting, and I was like, I just haven't got off my butt to do it, but you need to motivate me.
You should totally do it. You've got a really fun comedy voice. You do really good.
Oh, I'm just
that's not motivation. That's stabbing.
I thought the pen was unclicked. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
Jordan. I
They're
actually
beating each other up. Oh, this is awkward. You're really taking that stunt stuff seriously.
Does someone need to actually have a reel where it's like, oh, here's the actual video of like the like performance, or is it just something I could make up at home?
You can totally make. Well, I'd be hesitant about making it up at home. I think that could be dangerous. But the great thing about voiceover reels that doesn't happen with show reels is you don't have to have done anything for real. You can just go and work with a studio, like a voiceover company that set the reels up, and they will actually put some adverts together and some corporate little sounding tracks together, and you'll sit in the studio for a couple of hours, record them, and they'll edit it together and make it sound like you've been working as a voiceover artist for years. Wow. And that's a brilliant thing. Like, you can't really do that with show reels. When someone goes and does their own show reel, often it looks like they've done their own show reel. So and I got my voiceover agent actually doing exactly that. I just went and worked with a production company in London years and years ago. They put together a really, really short little demo reel, and I approached a voiceover agent, and they said, yeah, we'd love to have you. So it was easy as that.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something you don't think about. Like I always like, even from my perspective, I was like, I don't know if it was something that I could make a funny voice and record it, but it's like that's like it's so legit and something that you can easily do for probably like a low cost.
It's also you can do it for a low cost, and also it is a really great job to have as an actor. Because, you know, corporate jobs, presenting roles, voiceovers, they pay the bills when you're like really desperately wanting to do that indie film that's going to be the, you know, hopefully the Sundance, you know, amazing film of the year, which it may not, most of the time it won't, but you've got these dreams and aspirations and you want to work on that stuff. So pay your bills with these other jobs that are still reputable acting work. And voiceover work, it fits in there. You know, you always get paid for voiceovers. You know, you don't do voiceovers for free.
What?
So, really? Oh, LA might be a bit different.
Sam's like, all those shows I did that I didn't get paid for.
Yeah. Oh, awkward.
Awkward. Get it.
And also, they love American accents in the UK. We don't have enough really great voiceover artists. So you guys can just come
take me with you.
Yeah, come work with us in London for a while.
You don't know how bad I would go to London in a heartbeat. I've told my management team that too. I was like, listen, get me something in England and I'm there.
They're going to hate me now because I'm going to go back and try and get you guys jobs in London. They're like, oh dear.
Oh, no.
Oh, they're gone.
Like, on my phone, be like, we're recording this live from inside Angela's luggage.
I'll win back some of the UK listeners
we'll be
with
in
this.
My tiny little recording studio at home, the three of us just boxed up.
One of my favorite things, and I respect so much about UK-based actors, is their training that they have. They go through years and years of
training. We love our
them.
training, yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I'm angry.
Yeah.
Calm down. That's why everyone loves Game of Thrones.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I know, don't we? Oh.
What have been some of your hardest struggles being an actor, whether it be in London, Australia, out here, voiceover wise?
Wow, I think, that's a tough one. There's been so many struggles, Oh, just a moment. I think initially when I moved to London, it was proving myself because I was Australian and I'd come to another country. So you're kind of almost starting out. It would be exactly the same if I came to LA tomorrow.
Right.
And I would have to prove myself with all the cast directors. They'd have to find out who I was and know about you. So that was the first thing. Finding my fellowship, like finding my community. I think that was, that's pretty tough because when you first get there, you do another country, you only know a few people. And, you hope they're not stabbing you in the back when you leave after you've hung out for coffee and thought that you were bonding.
With that, the community thing, did you create the blog because of that, or was the blog created out of
no,
reasons?
the blog. Yeah, I started the blog just because I used to write. I just enjoyed writing, and one of my friends one day went, why don't you just put all this stuff down on a blog? Did it years ago, and I think back in 2010, and decide on a clever name. I thought it was clever, and then sometimes people go onto my blog looking for the wrong thing because it's called Babe, Begin Acting, Be Everything. But sometimes people are looking up different babes, so that's really awkward. Sometimes people just go onto my site and then they go straight off, and I'm like, oh, okay, you weren't looking for my site. But so yeah, I just used to like writing, putting my thoughts down, and then as I did more of the UK Actors Tweet Up and other kind of events and things, I'd get to meet a lot more actors, and you'd get to hear the real earnest truth about how they were feeling. And so my blog posts usually come from a conversation that week, or something that's been inspired by me struggling with something, or someone else I know struggling with something. All the stuff we're talking about, like how to stay positive and how to keep earning money and how to not give up on the dream. So yeah,
that's almost that's amazing, because it's almost like I would imagine to write it must be a little bit therapeutic to get your feelings out,
totally
and then
is.
at the same time you're also helping people with their, because they're feeling the same thing.
It makes me feel great. So even if no one ever read it, I actually feel awesome myself, because I'm like, oh, it's really great to get this out. And actually, the funny thing is, I'm always trying to be really like positive and super happy and whatever, I'm naturally inclined to be that way.
Right.
I'm Australian, but my best blog posts are the ones where I get ranting, because I get lots of replies on Twitter and Facebook about that. Whenever I get really like, oh, this just happened, and write this like really powerful like rah blog, they actually get much better results.
Oh, wow.
So maybe I should just start going rah all the time. So sorry, back onto that. And I think the other struggle was when I first moved to London was just making enough money so I could try and be a full-time actor, even though we're never full-time unless we're on, a series regular TV shows. But yeah, that was that. And that is a constant, that's always going to be a struggle, I guess. Right. But yeah.
I think it's so important, though, whenever it's okay to rant and to express, like, not disinterest, but you're upset about something. Disappointment or whatever, something that keeps happening. I think that's super important. But then I think instead of stopping there, which a lot of actors do, just complain and complain and complain.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what are your next steps then?
Exactly. And when I do rant, you'll be happy to know that I actually do usually follow it up with something positive at the end, going, okay, so this is the result of that, and blah blah blah.
This is how I will solve it.
So agree with you,
because okay, like I get it, like it feels great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we've complained to each other multiple times. You know what I mean?
I'm complaining in my head right now about you.
I wasn't speaking about each other.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But it's just so unhealthy because that's one of the reasons why I created this podcast. I knew, and I have a very specific person in mind. I'm never going to mention them, of course. But man, holy crap. This guy, I mean, could rant on and on and on and on. And at first you're like, yeah. And then by the end of it, you're like, shut up.
Yeah,
no one cares.
You can only do that. Like, we've got a couple of those in the UK. Girls and guys, might be the same guy, probably not. But yeah, it's okay once in a while, right? You're exhausted, and this is hard work. But the rest of the time, you're bringing everybody down. You're just bringing people down with that kind of stuff. It's really negative. And chances are the people that are like that all the time probably aren't the working actors. That's what I found. Yeah. People that sit on Facebook and Twitter and all these places and rant and carry on. They're usually because they've got loads of time on their hands.
Oh my gosh! You just
listen to me talk.
Yeah. I'm so important.
Cast It Talent actually just posted this picture of Ben Affleck, if I'm not mistaken, quoting him, saying it's so important that it doesn't matter. Like it's. I hate saying it's a cliche saying because there's actually very good meaning in it, and it's one of the themes for The Dark Knight. It doesn't matter how many times you've been put down.
Yeah.
It's all about getting back up.
Yeah.
And keep at it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important as a footnote, not just keep at it and blindly do it with no tactics or, some good thought behind on what you're doing and why you're doing it. It's so important. Like, okay, this didn't work. And this is one of the reasons why I like having people on the podcast talk about their struggles, whether it be a producer, a director, a writer, or actor, is because I want to know not just about your struggles, but how you overcame them, what you learned from them, and what are your next steps.
Yes.
Because that's where I found the most success in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had a director, I can't remember, a couple of months back, and he came on and did a podcast with you guys. I remember listening to it, and he was talking about it. He was quite a really successful director, and he was talking about the struggles that he has sometimes. What was his name?
Eduardo Ponte.
Yeah. And talking about actually, even as a director, I still don't know when I'm going to get my next job and stuff. And I was really relieved to hear that. I was like, oh, cool. This is for everybody in this industry. Until you're in that top 1% where you're hanging out with Meryl Streep.
She wants to be
not
on the
return my calls.
She wants to be on the show, but I just
she's really busy. I think she's probably going to be in London soon because we've got Suffragettes will be be coming out. So
we'll corner her.
Yeah,
Meryl, if you're listening to us,
come on our show. I dare you, Meryl. I dare you. You think you can
hashtag daring Meryl.
And actually, she's a great example. Speaking of her, she started that program for women that are over 45 or something, is it?
It's a writing program for women.
That's amazing. That is so cool because we were constantly hearing about the battle for female actor, another struggle, female actresses. Once we hit a certain age, we're not going to get any work. And Tina Fey and that did that funny thing. And so I love what Meryl's doing and all those people that are flying that older women in Hollywood flag.
Angela, we're sadly out of time. I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You have one,
and thank you for all that you do for actors over in the UK and over here too. It's just the keeping the community alive.
Oh, you guys are so sweet.
Seriously, we need more artists like you in the community. If there's one piece of advice you could share with the struggling artist right now, what would you say?
One piece of advice: if you love nothing else more than you love acting, keep doing it, because that determination will mean that eventually one day you'll be working as an actor. You just got to keep believing in it.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on the interweb?
Oh, I'm on IMDb. I guess everyone's on IMDb.
Twitter.
You can Google me. Oh yeah, I'm on Angie Pange on Twitter. I say Pange, but you guys will go Angie Pang because it just is PANG at the end. awkward. I was trying to get Angie Pangie. It was taken. It was years ago before I knew Twitter was going to be huge. So Angie Pangie, and I've got a website, angelapeters.tv.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And if you want to check out the blog, it is...
it's called actingbabe.com. Okay. Not because I'm a babe, it's just because it's about the be everything, believe that stuff. Right. Yeah. It's not for me. Oh dear.
Jordan, thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Always fun. Love it.
People want to find you on Twitter. Where are you at, man?
Jordan Burbank 7.
Awesome.
I tried to get Jordan Burbank and they wouldn't.
There were 7 of you before?
No, it's a lucky number, but the dude that got it still hasn't tweeted since 2009. I'm very bitter about it.
And you can't get
you can. If they haven't tweeted,
I have to trademark my name and then I have to argue to
them.
Then
do it, man.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, I'm gonna every time I write to you now, I'm gonna have the trademark sign after your first name.
I want to thank Gabe here at GVB Studios. Check them out. They're a great studio. Very upworthy. I don't know why was that weird?
Because you just kind of trailed off there.
I feel there's a tickle in my throat right now. That's what I'm thinking about.
Dude, I love being here.
But by the way, also just a shout out. You guys are amazing. I love what you guys are doing. So keep doing this. This is brilliant. It's so positive for actors to listen to.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Spread the word over the pond.
I'll tell everybody. I'll tell everybody in Mongolia and China and Australia.
Our show today is brought to you by Cast It Talent. Cast It is the exclusive partner to Cast It's network of more than 10,000 of Hollywood's top casting directors, producers, directors, and studio execs. Check them out on Instagram and Twitter. They always post some awesome, motivating things as well. Check us out on the podcast, actorsanonymouspodcast.com. Our Twitter handle is podcastaa. You can check me out at WeSamKeish, Instagram at WeSamKeish, WeSamKeish.com.
Sorry, I didn't mean to I cut off your Twitter handle. I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
Also, check us out on patreon.com. We have really great offers for subscription, free subscriptions. If you guys want to actually, donate some money to the show, we also have some awesome perks to get to know us better and just to get some things out early from the show.
Right. Totally volunteer basis. You don't have to, but you get some amazing things, I think. Skype sessions personally with us. And we can talk about your work. We can take a look.
Critiques, t-shirts, lots of fun.
Yeah, so it's basically a way to, personalize more with our listeners because and build that fellowship, on our end a little bit more.
We love you guys.
Yeah. Always remember to listen, think, and then talk.